log
That's just
cabin.
been chilling for hella long.
No, well, it was a gift, and she was like, it's super expensive, but like, it's just so damaged, you know. I was like, come here, girl, I can take it all, and just give it to me, girl. I got
All
this.
you do is wash it.
I was like, how much was it? She was like, $150, and I was like, I'll take it. So I took it, and then today I was like, it's a cold day. This would be perfect. When I put it on, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, you're just that extra itch.
Bro, like if you were to put this on, you'd feel like you haven't taken a shower in 2 days.
Well, this was a great way to start the podcast.
Oh shit, is this thing on?
It was already rolling.
Is this thing on?
I'm just gonna keep everything in. But as we said right before we started, welcome back to the lunch table, food for thought. I'm Nico Blitz. Make sure you hit that subscribe button just right down there. The reason why I'm speaking in ASMR is because it was Mercy's idea. My next guest.
Thank you for having me.
Mercy Collazo, what's poppin' on, girl?
I just gotta say that it's a pleasure to be here. And I feel just so blessed to be a part of this.
Well, I'm happy that you're here.
How long are we gonna keep this going, though?
I don't know, probably for another couple seconds. If you didn't know, man, she was Mercy Collazo. If you did not hear me the first time, man.
See.
Interesting fact.
Whoa.
You're signed to a Too Short's label, OG Records.
Yes. Bitch. That's all I can. I go for the stereotypical thing. Like, what do you think when you think Too Short? Well, the Bay, little smoky, OG, and you could say it.
Bitch.
Yeah.
You know, every time I play Blow the Whistle, it goes up every single time.
Yeah. No, it was funny because I'm doing a cover that's coming on. That's going to be on the Pendeja
Really?
playlist, and when I recorded it, I did it in my version. So like I'm a little bit more. People always ask like, what do you like? What's your music like? So you have to kind of like know like the names. Okay, well if you were to mix so and so, you get me. So I'm a little bit more Amy Winehouse meets Adele meets a little bit of Sia Portishead. So I wanted to do that with Blow the Whistle. So we've got horns in there. We've got like it's very acoustic, but it's like a chill ass Blow the Whistle. So I've been performing it.
Wow. And are you actually going to record that too?
It's
I feel like
recorded.
I need that already.
It's recorded. Did she not send it to you?
No.
Did you not send it to
She
him?
sent me Pendejo, though.
Okay, that's the first single. You're going to love that shit. But I'll send you Blow the Whistle. But everybody loves it. We've been performing it. I have a show out at the Mint on the 29th. I'm going to be performing that. And people love it. You know?
Let me check my calendar really quick.
Check
the
it.
29th.
It's
I got to
okay.
be there already,
Well, I got other shows too. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if you're going to be there for the Blow the Whistle, you know, if you're going to do Blow the Whistle on the 29th.
Yeah.
I'm there. That's a Wednesday?
Yeah. Yep.
That's what's up.
High five. Cool.
How did that all happen? Like Too Short.
You know what?
How'd you end up linking with him?
I'm going to try to cut it down because I was on a date, right? And it was in Newport. And so, like, you would never expect, like, Short to be like, hey, I'm about the yachts, Newport, blam, blam. I was, like, at American Junkie off ECH, where it's just, like, nothing but, like, country club kids on a Sunday. And I was out on a date, and then the next thing I know, like, Too Short's hanging around, and I was like, cool, what's up? And my date was like, that's Too Short. And me, I'm not the kind of person to be like, oh my God, everybody put down your buffalo wings.
Just walk up to him like,
go.
bitch.
Yeah, no. I'm always like, you know, let them do them. Like they're humans. Like let them live their lives.
Yeah.
But no, my date wanted to ask for a picture.
Oh God.
And you can see me in the picture. I'm just like,
hella awkward. Like I don't want to do this right now.
yes. But the great thing about that was that I was already drunky poo. So when I'm drunky poo, I just want to tell everybody I can sing. I just want to be like, you over there, you know that I can sing? You over there? So all
you said it without like slurring your words or anything.
A little bit. Well, as soon as I sing, then it's normal.
Okay.
So I went into his ear and I was like, yo, Short. Of course he was short by that time. I was like, yo, Short, I just want to let you know that I can sing. I'm a songwriter. And he's all, really? And normally they would walk off and be like, okay, get out of my ear. But I grabbed him and I was like, if your life is terminal. And he's all, get down my number. So I got down his number. And then after that, he was like, come to my studio. And I was like, okay, I'm going to your studio. Okay, do sure. Okay. So then I show up with my guitar and he's like, sit right here. the motherfucker leaves me in the studio for like 2 hours, like just jamming with like a room full of other people that are like, well, I'm gonna to the hip hop. Like there's all these people that are just like singing and shit, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, and I'm super antisocial, so like I'm not one that likes to blend.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just gonna play my guitar right here. So I started playing my guitar. Next thing I know, he's like, yeah, well, you know, you sound really good. I'm like, were you watching me? He's all, you know, I got people watching.
Yeah, there's like a camera in the back somewhere, just like floating.
Yeah. And I always just say, it's just from that one opportunity, just meeting him, going out on a date and like just singing for him, got his number. And the next thing I know, I'm at his studio and one thing leads to another. And he's like, yo, I want to sign you.
It was just natural.
Yeah, thank God. It was just the universe working in my favor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, of all places for Too Short being in...
fucking Newport, bro.
Yeah, Newport Beach. Like, I don't know. I mean, me personally, I don't know anybody who just hangs around Newport Beach.
Right here.
Aside from yourself.
Thank you.
Of course.
Well, I told you, I live in the HB. I'm down the street. I said, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Wait, I wasn't living in HB at the time, but whatever. Rewind that. Act like I was living in HB.
Rewind.
You
You're probably one of the more animated people that I've had on this podcast.
And
so
believe
far.
it or not, I haven't had my second cup of coffee, so I'm quite boring today. Sorry.
This is the boring version of you.
Yes.
I'm kind of astounded by that comment.
I don't know how to react to that.
So, like, growing up, were you always like this animated, always this like fun and energetic?
No, I'm not always like this. It's just, you're in front of me. I might as well talk to you.
Yeah, right.
I
mean, you might as well spit some bars too.
I mean, I can.
What you got?
Well, I mean, do you want me to do blow the whistle? I mean, if I had my guitar here, but I could just
just give us like a little snippet of the blow the whistle.
I go on and on, can't understand how I last so long. I must have superpowers, rap 225,000 hours. Get it calculated, do the math. I made 1,000 songs that made you move your eyes. For the last 300 months, I made 16 albums with me on the front, and they bump.
Hey.
No, I'm kidding.
I fuck with it. I fuck with it. When did you start singing?
Oh, dude. So one day my mom was crazy. My mom is crazy. She said, I'm going to take you out of school. And I was like, what you mean?
Whoa.
And she's like, well, just prepare yourself. Like, I'm going to take you out of school. We're going to move. And I was like, cool.
Move from
we lived in
where?
Walnut. We lived in Walnut at the time. And then all of a sudden, I remember, just like it was yesterday, we would wake up in the morning and she's all, I'm taking you out today. And I was like, what? Cool. Next thing I know, she takes me out. She's all, you're going to go into independent studies, so we're going to set you up. And I was like kind of sad. So she took me to my grandpa's house. My grandpa had this guitar that was always in his little library. And I was the only one that he would let touch the guitar because he'd always say, all the boys would kick it, but you would always be off on your own because I was a little, I always stuck to myself. And we would find you on the floor just doing this to the strings.
Oh, just always strumming
just
it.
strumming it. Just sitting there. And he's like, take it and learn because you got plenty of time now. And I was like, fine, Grandpa, I will take this guitar. You give me this guitar. But I didn't realize that it would be a huge part of my life because after that, I played the guitar probably 12 hours a day. My mom would just leave me in the house by myself with books and a guitar. So pretty much for the next 3 years, all I did was play the guitar in the garage. And
how old were you at that time?
Oh, God, I was like 16.
Wow.
So she took me out, and then a bunch of shit happened in my life, and I just literally just played the guitar. And the next thing I know, I was hanging out with my brother's girlfriend at the time, and she's like, I know a manager, and, I've been telling him about you. Like, you've got something. And you know what? It took a really long time for me to figure out that this is what I wanted to do. I always knew I was good at it, but back in the day, it just came so naturally. And, I got signed with management when I was 16. And
wow.
Yeah, but I never really put that much into it. It's been recently where I've been like, okay, I'm really going to do my thing. The past 3 years, I've dedicated myself to my music, and thank God, Short's been listening. I'm signed out in Germany with Tokyo Dawn Records on a separate label for a separate group that I'm in called Soul. So, I got a lot of shit going on. So I'm excited.
So how come for the first 3 years you weren't necessarily taking it seriously?
I was in a relationship that literally I wasn't putting my all into it. I was more involved in my relationship. And then all of a sudden I got dumped after 6.5 years, 2 weeks before Christmas. And I was like, oh, God.
Crazy.
And I was like, you know what? If I'm not going to put my all into it now, I'm never going to do it. And so I really took it seriously, and I did a bunch of weird and crazy things, and I've put myself out on the line.
What do you mean weird and crazy things?
I I mean, like I was homeless the first year because I knew that I had to be in LA, but I couldn't afford it. So I was living from house to house, and I was trying to figure out, okay, how do I do this? How do I put myself forward? How do I, like, it's a very difficult business. Number one, you know, you could either be like the whole entire bunch that everybody's the same and they write the same music and they look and they sound the same. They all have, you know, a pair of lime green Yeezys and a fanny pack on their chest or something.
You forgot about the Supreme tags.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
yeah. I tried to keep it very neutral, but I can't do that because I got big boobies. So that shit would be up to. I would look like I'd be sleeping on top of my fanny pack and shit. So I was like, that's not gonna work. So, anyways, I mean, I just knew that I had to be myself, and I wanted to be my best self, and I knew that I had a message. So it really took like the first 2 years of me just saying yes to everything, and yes to everything means that you get yourself involved in situations where you're like, how long have I been waiting in this room to sing? Or doing shit that I never wanted to do, like putting yourself up for shows and then going through like a year of like, oh, yes, you got it, and then finding out you don't got it. And just like constantly doing shit and constantly trying to write with you, trying to write with them. Oh, writing for a big name and it being nothing, you know? So it's constant growing and knowing that you're going to get there. And I always tell people, anybody who wants to be in this business, you can definitely be in this business, but you have to have thick motherfucking skin.
Super thick skin, because you're gonna get tossed with, nah, that's not good enough.
Oh, totally.
Or, you know, and but you know what I mean? It's through those situations where you're like, okay, well, now I need to know how I can improve.
Exactly.
So I can, you know, make that motherfucker shut up and be like,
and you have to know
was good.
yourself too. And actually, I'm going to put us on live because we're going to have a little conversation about this stuff. But yeah, you have to know yourself, and I think that's the great thing about being an artist is if you what the fuck, it froze. That was a funny video. God fucking shit.
Damn it.
It's okay. We'll have plenty
do
of
another
opportunities. But yeah, no, I know that this is my message. This is what I meant to do. It's not just the music, and it's also I don't want to just see my ass.
Oh man, we got to kind of do it like that.
All right, you guys get a picture of my titties.
As we're recording this, we're also going on her IG live.
All right, so you can't really see me. Oh, did I not?
And the battery's dying.
Whatever, dude. How do you?
They get the audio version.
All right, you guys. So I'm doing a podcast with Nico, and we're trying to make this happen, but you know, don't look at my boobs.
We're making it function the best way possible. What you can do is
do something. I don't want to see me. You guys don't want to see me.
It's okay. It's
so
fine. We good.
We're doing a podcast. Just go along with it. Okay.
Yes.
Go on.
I don't even know where we were.
Me neither.
Shit. We kind of just went off on a tangent.
Yeah.
I think it was the idea that like once you're in this industry that you really have to have thick skin. So for you writing songs for big names, like I mean, you know,
well, no.
Write,
I mean,
but
you know what?
I
It's
mean?
been.
Like, you know what I mean? Like you have to kind of like you also have to recognize that even like the first song that you write for somebody or like the first thing that you do for somebody, it's not like a sure shot.
Yeah.
That's only the first of like 100,
Oh
1,000,
yeah, and it's
a
like,
million more.
It's like that for
you have to do.
anything in life, you know. Fuck the music. I mean, just for anything. I always say, God, it's the same thing. We all have our different battles. Like for me, I mean, I wanted to focus more on like the artistry side because you know I could have done more songwriting, but I was really focusing on you know my image and how everything needed to be. And that took up a lot of my time. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I want to write for other people. I definitely want to write for other people because I can do anything. So that's what I'm focusing on. But along with that, thank God, you know, we got the playlist coming out. And then I've got another album coming out with another group. And then, you know, I'm doing all these shows. Like I said, I'm playing at the Mint on the 29th. And then I'm doing like Harvell's. And there's like a long list. So I want people to follow me on IG. Mercy __ and I hate that my last name's so fucking long. COLL. This is the way my mom says it. This is the way she would always spell it. And when she'd be like ordering shit, she'd be like, my last name is COLLAZO.
Not S.
Yeah, ZO. So it's Mercy __ COLLAZO.
I mean, I understand it though because a lot of people can't spell. Like
Well,
for instance, my last name's Trianfonte.
Wait, don't tell me. TRIANFONTE.
I'll give you one more chance. Triunfante.
Triunfante. Are you Filipino?
I'm Filipino.
I'm Filipino too.
Are you really?
Yeah, I just found out though. My grandma was like, "We're not Boricua," and I was like, "Oh shit! I've been telling everybody this for my whole entire life."
So wait, what's your entire like ethnic background?
My dad's side is Mexican. Michoacan French. You know, the French had sex with the Spaniards, and the Spaniards came. And
essentially, we're all related.
Exactly. And then my mom's side, I thought was just full Boricua. We're from San Juan. But it turns out my grandma had a little Filipino in her, and she looks totally China. Like, she totally looks Filipino. We'd always be like, "You look like China." And then, you know, she's like, "It's because I'm Filipino." I'm like, "She's getting older." And then my aunt's all, "No, bitch, you're actually Filipino." I'm like, fuck.
So that means you're probably like, what, maybe like less than 20%.
I don't know.
It has to be a very small amount if that was like
know.
your grandma and it was just going down the
Yeah,
lineage.
I don't know. But like the funny thing is, you know, I identify as like full Puerto Rican because that's how I grew up.
Yeah.
I grew up with like nothing but like a bunch of J-Los, like just telling me to do whatever in life. And I was just like, okay, well, I consider myself for full ass Boricua. And then you go and tell me I'm fucking Filipino. You just totally changed my shit.
It's like, man, I gotta go to Puerto Rico and I gotta go to the Philippines next year.
I gotta listen to Suavemente and I gotta go to Jollibee. like, what the fuck?
I love it.
Yeah, so it threw me off. It threw me the fuck off. I'm still trying to figure that shit out. Sometimes like I talk to Filipinos, I'm like, "What do we eat?" And they're like, "What do you mean? What do we eat?" I'm like, what do you eat?"
Oh God, I mean, I have conversations with a whole bunch of Filipinos on this podcast in terms of like what we eat. I think the consensus is that the weirdest thing we eat is this thing called balot, and it's essentially this egg yolk with like the baby egg with the baby chick still inside.
Oh, that's fucking gross.
Yeah,
that's disgusting.
I mean, I don't eat it, but I know people who do eat it.
It sounds like the way you would sound when you're barfing it up.
Exactly.
That's disgusting. Like, what are you eating? You just need a little burp in there. That nasty little burp when you're hungover.
Is there something that like is so off from everybody else's thinking that you eat?
Apple cider vinegar.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm a health fanatic. Like that's the one thing. Like you got to look good in this business. So I'm always like, okay, got to do this shit. And you know what? I love it. But a lot of my friends, they make fun of me because they're just like, oh my God, like fucking just eat a grilled cheese.
Oh,
I'm
God.
like, no, but I'm a fatty at heart. Like, it's funny. Like, I'm one of those people that'll be like, I'll go really, really like hard. And then, you know, just so I can have that fucking piece of cheese.
That's
you know?
good, yeah.
Like, you know, it's worth it. So, you know, I'll work out. I always go to Nectar. I always do my ginger shot. I always do my wheatgrass. Do my 10 push-ups before I go to I do my little, you know, sauna. I do like I do my affirmations. I do the Tibetan bowls.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, that's how I stay not too sane, but sane enough.
Yeah.
That's how I do it. So
How'd you even like what made you like so accustomed to wanting to have such a healthy lifestyle?
So, you know, I don't talk about it that much, but I was an addict when I was in my early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a lot of people that were unhealthy around me. And the funny thing, well, it's not the funny thing, you know, when I was trying to get myself more healthier, the reason why I did it was because of how shitty I felt. So, you know, my mom had lupus and I had a lot of people around me that were sick. And I was like, God, I don't want to fucking be like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, there was a time where I was like, I just kept on getting sick. And I still get sick from now and then. I mean, yeah, I'm a cougher.
I mean,
I'm a big cougher.
Yeah.
But, but I was like, you know, what are the natural ways to do it? Because my mom instilled it in me. My mom was one of those health moms. Like, my mom was literally like a J-Lo. So, like, she literally, like, we all look the same. Like, if you see me, like, take off this headband and give me a big ass and just, like, have me dance to Selena, and then you'll be like...
She got all the tattoos, too, huh?
Oh, no. No, it's just me, buddy.
That's the only identifier that you guys are different.
Serious shit, bro. Serious shit. So, my mom instilled it in me, and, I mean, I love being naked. So if there's an extra roll in there, you know, I'm not happy with it. You know what I'm saying? I like to feel and look my best, and it's just the way I've always been. You know, people say, "How'd you grow up?" I grew up with my mom. Always like, you know, I would sit at the bed and watch her get ready, and she'd be like, "Okay, yes," and I'd be like, "Bravo, it's a 10. You could go," or it would be like, "No, Mom, that does not match. You got it." So I grew up with that, and she was always like, "You gotta look good. You gotta be. Don't you dare eat those pinche French fries, Mercy." And I'm like, "But I'm 5.
But I'm hungry.
But I'm fucking 5." So it's just the way I am. So like, if you see my mom, I'm literally a spitting image. Like, if you're same face, same everything. She's a blonde, and so when I went blonde, I was like,
oh God,
it was so scary. It was so scary.
Dude, so let's say both of you like walk down the street, right?
Oh,
you
people
guys
think we're sisters.
Okay, because that was my next question.
Yeah, people think we're sisters, and she's a health fanatic too, so she looks great too. So yeah, there's been times like I think it was 2 years ago. She's all, you know what? I'm just letting you know. Don't say anything, Mercy. I'm not looking my best today. And I was like, Mom, you're my mother. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, we're going to IHOP. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, what the fuck? Do you think we're going to, like, Beverly Wilton? Like, come on. So, and it was the funniest thing because I go see her and I shit you not. On point, looked like she just got her hair done, and it had that little Marilyn Monroe flap. She had her fake eyelashes on, her lipstick was on, and she went like this. Oh, hey. And I was like, you son of a...
Oh, my God.
This is who I get this shit from. This is who I get this. This is ridiculous. So, yeah.
Seems you and your mom have such like a really tight-knit relationship. No?
No. I know, right?
That's interesting.
Hey, man.
Despite you guys, I mean, you being like a spitting image of her.
Yeah, no. No.
Why is that?
Are we going into, is this Dr. Phil?
Hey, man,
well, there was a moment.
We just got to dig a little bit deep. just a little bit.
No, my mom's crazy. Yeah, half of my music, all my music when I was younger, was all about her. And people are like, is that about your girlfriend? I was like, no, it's about my crazy-ass mother. My mother, I haven't spoken to my mom in a year. Yeah, like I'm not very close to my family. However, I always say this, you don't talk too much shit about your family. You know, you say funny things, and that's what I say about her because she did the best that she could. She was a single mother raising 3 kids, no father. My father was a complete loser. And so, hey, man, when you're a single mother and you're doing what you can, that's the best you can do. I always say, give it up to them. So, her and I aren't like in the best places, kind of. Yeah. But I show respect.
Yeah. It's kind of like there's that mutual understanding of like what's going on between your relationship, but like considering the fact that single mother raising 3 kids, dude. Like, that's hard.
Oh, dude.
That's really hard.
Straight up, G. And she managed to look good all the time. And she managed to be like dressed in Sade shit. Like she had her hair slicked back and pencil skirt and be like, I feel like shit today. Like, cool. That's what I want to
do you.
Right.
So being the tattoos, being the soul
I don't even have that many tattoos.
I mean, you got that on your hand right now.
Bro, it's a hand tattoo. It could be henna and shit.
It could be henna, but I know it's not henna. I've had henna done on me before. I know what henna looks like.
Yeah. Well,
You got a couple, though. What is it?
So it started off with a mandala, and pretty much I just thought it was really, really pretty. And I play the guitar, and I always thought it would be a very pretty thing with, a bunch of rings and shit. And it just kept on growing. Excuse me.
She's getting calls during the podcast.
I just told him. I told him I'm going on a podcast, and he calls me. He's like, what are you doing?
I'm gone for the next hour.
Junior, I'm on a podcast.
So back to the tattoos. Initially you got it because you thought it would look cool like when you're playing the guitar.
Yeah, and I like the exotic look. I like a lot of patterns, and I'm not a fan too much of like color. So I like the black and white, and I think it accents me, and I like it.
So what about the one on your wrist? Because that doesn't show to the world.
It means the most beautiful sound. It's Hindu for Om, which is peace, and obviously that's like self-explanatory.
Literally that sound. Om.
Yeah. So I always have to remind myself to calm the fuck down and do my little ohms every morning. So, yeah. It was one of my first tattoos, so.
Let me see it.
Huh.
That's tight.
Yeah.
Did you like study Hinduism or anything?
No. Well, okay, so I had to have been like 18, and I was like, I'm going to go to the library because my homie just got a butterfly on her ass, and I'm not going to get a butterfly on my ass. Like, I don't want to be that person that's like, that's cute. That's cute. Just do it. And then you find out years later that it means I fuck myself on Sunday. Like, it's not, like, I already got one of those tattoos. Yeah. And I'm not going back. So I went to the library. I studied. I was like, I want to look up, like, like beautiful things that represent peace and blam, blam. And I thought it was the smartest thing until it was so funny because then I was out hanging with this girl, and she's like, oh, my God, Tommy Lee has that on his belly button. And I was like, I fucking hate Motley Crue. I fucking hate Motley Crue. And this motherfucker has it above his navel, like, and I was like, oh, God damn it. Like, but, I really did study up on it, and it's Om. It's peace. It's meditation.
No, that's good significance because, like, 9 times out of 10, I see people who just get, like, the most random tattoos on themselves, and I'm like, I wonder if you actually researched that a little bit.
And you know what? I don't even. I may joke a lot, but I don't like to make fun of tattoos too much because, okay, number one, when you get it, sometimes you're a little drunky poo, or you're in the moment with somebody, or you're like, fuck it, I just want to.
Oh, shout out to my left shoulder.
Right? Yeah, and I've done that so many times where like I'm making fun of somebody, and then they start doing this.
Oh God.
Like, I was talking about it the other day. I was like, God, anybody who has a star on their body's a douche. And then it was my sister.
There's like 5 people in the room with stars. Like.
And they got stars. And I'm like, what the fuck does a star mean? Like, I don't know. It's permanent, bro. So, like, if you're getting something on your body, it's permanent. Like, it's pinche permanent. Like, when I'm, like, on my deathbed and somebody's changing, to get me to pee in the fucking little tube and shit, and they lift it up and it says born wild. It doesn't say born wild. Okay. I'm giving you an example. But, like, it's just, shit. But if you're happy with it and it makes you happy, like Steve-O, all of his dumbass tattoos, like, he's gotten them in the moment, and that motherfucker's crazy. But you got to admit, nobody else in the world has that damn tattoo.
Hey, on some real, I still look back at, like, the tattoos, like, all around my body, and I'm just like, man, these were honestly, like, good life lessons.
See?
You know what I mean? You kind of have to think of things in, like, a different perspective, because it's already, it's already here.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
And to get it removed is so painful.
Oh, God.
The sound of it.
I just spoke to my ex-girlfriend because she had a tattoo of, like, me on her.
No.
And she got it removed, and I'm just like, okay.
Sorry about it.
Yeah, well, I hope it didn't hurt too much.
And she's like, fuck you. It was the worst pain in my life.
I'm over here, like, looking at my shit, and I'm just like,
It's painful. I don't think I would ever want to get anything removed just based on the sound. Have you heard the sound?
That's what it sounds like?
It's worse. That's a baby version of it. It literally, it's just like this laser going off, going.
Because it's like really digging like through all the layers of your skin. Like,
yeah, no. Not down for it. I'm scared to get my nipples pierced, and I've been wanting to do it for over 2 years now, and I still can't do it. Yeah, my nipples. Ugh.
I don't know how that would feel. Does that like mess with like a woman's like the milk?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's okay.
That doesn't sound like a good idea.
I'm not worried about that. Yeah. That baby will be fine. LaToya? You got LaToya? It's not LaToya Jackson, is it?
No, that's LaToya Luckett.
Oh, shit. Fuck it.
Yeah.
PDAP, don't know who that is. MC Hammer, cool.
Yeah, we got a couple people on this wall. Basically, I bought all these records for like 50 cents or less.
Of course you did.
And we basically just used it for this installation. I don't know any of these records, by the way.
You should.
I should.
Maybe Ford Stephanie. Well, to be honest, I don't know anybody yet.
I do have a couple records that are just like chilling inside my room because growing up, I used to buy a whole bunch of CDs, and I've always just been this type of person where I just need to like have something tangible because it just means a little bit more,
I feel the same with vinyl. Like I had CDs, but now like we don't use them really. Like it's very rare that we use them. So I just like have these little things that I just put shit on or. Like, what the fuck is this?
Well, see, like, I'm a DJ, too, so then I still use records and vinyls to, like, actually spin on. And to me, like, it's not necessarily, like, the nostalgic feeling, but, I mean, I guess it really is the nostalgic feeling.
No, I'm down for vinyl.
It makes me look back and appreciate the DJ Kuberts of the world, you know what I mean? Like, because that's the type of stuff that they had to go through, just, like, spinning on that type of shit. And, once you get to, like, something that's digital where there's just, like, 2 platters, it's not the same feeling at all.
How do you feel about DJs that, like, there was something that I saw, and I'm a fan of DJs, don't get me wrong. I feel like it's an art, and if you know the art, then it's a great and beautiful thing, and it should be highly respected. However, there are those DJs that, like, go to, like, Ibiza, or, like, all they do is just, and then it's all the ravers that are like...
I mean, see... there's 2 things that I know. One, there's DJs who will actually like get down on the tables.
Yes, and that's what I love.
For 2, the DJs who just seem like they're just like turning shit all the time.
That's it.
Like,
how do you feel about that?
9 times out of 10, that's like a pre-recorded mix.
No, it just got worse.
You know what I mean? And it's like it's already there. It's kind of like the production value. I'm like, yo, like I can hear it. It's kind of too perfect. You know what I mean? Like I know when I hear a DJ and I hear like things like fuck up naturally, I'm like, that guy's actually on the table. Yeah. They're actually spinning. But, I mean, not to down any DJs who go overseas and do that type of stuff.
Oh, I'm down for it if they got the talent. Like, there's a DJ, there's a few DJs that I'm really into. And by the way, Von Kiss is a dope DJ.
Shout out Von Kiss, man.
Who is on my Pendeja playlist. She did a remix of Pussy. And that is a song for Jesus.
You have a song called Pussy?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Wait, I haven't heard it. I couldn't find it.
We can play it. Hold on. I'm going to end this because I'm going to play him Pussy, you guys. He doesn't know anything about Pussy.
Wait, is that one out?
Yes.
What?
It's on Dimensions, which is the last EP that I put out.
In 2018.
Yeah. Okay, so do you want to, I'm going to play you the version that's going to be on the Pendeja playlist. And what we did is we did a medley of the last EP, and it's...
Oh, you got to put that up to the mic.
So it's a mixture of the original and then with what Von Kiss did. And Von Kiss is the shit. So this is part of the way. I'm going to have to send you the mix. I'm just going to go to Von Kiss right now. Oh, wait, not yet.
These days, walking like there ain't no stop sign. So hard, I need that downtown. Kiss me like you taste that sweet spot. Make that temperature get too hot. Grab my hips and thrust your body into me. I've been waiting all day for you to come and do that thing you do. I've been in control all day, so come and do it for me.
A little bit.
In the chorus, are you talking from like the man's perspective, like all I need is pussy?
No, I'm
Or
talking
you're talking
from my
your
perspective.
Oh shit. Okay.
From my perspective. Did I tell you that my date was a woman? And
Oh no, I didn't know that.
There you go.
Dude. Good for you.
Thank you. I'm single, ladies. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But I am.
Now that we're on this conversation about about like pussy and
Go for it.
and women and whatnot.
I've had two brothers. Go ahead.
What's your perspective on like? Where am I trying to go with this?
I don't know. Where are you trying to go with
Let's say you're on Instagram, right? And you just see like a whole bunch of like Instagram models, flexing their bodies and whatnot. Like, what's your take on that?
Well, I would never be one to be like, fuck it, like, ew, who the fuck do you think you are? I'm all for women, like empowerment. But it gets to the point where I really don't think there's such thing as an Instagram fucking model. Let's get real. Like, you can post a bunch of pictures of yourself and do this, and you can make a little bit of money, but what are you doing with it? And I'm all about, like, if you're doing something, at least, do it for a good cause. Help somebody out, give a shout out, have a message that's going to help women and, younger girls, because there's so many young people that are on IG now. Like, I get a lot of messages from like people where, they'll either be like lifting me up or talking shit. And I always have to remind myself, oh shit, this could be like a 5-year-old or an 8-year-old. And there was one time where there was this one chick that was just talking mad shit. And she was like mad at the fact that I don't know, that I was pretty. I don't know what the fuck it was. And then, Boricua Mercy came out after like a few.
Hold my earring.
Hold my poodle. And I was like, I said something. I'm never one to be like, fuck you. That's not what I represent. However, I'm very sarcastic. So I,
The one thing a lot of people in this world do not understand.
No, they don't, and that's why it never works out with me for certain people. So I started throwing it out, which is very funny. Like I thought it was hilarious. And then she says,
Oh,
I knew that was coming
it's
off.
coming out.
She said, I'm going to have to go kick your ass. And I said, well, I don't think that's possible. And she said, and why the fuck not? And I said, well, you say you're in Detroit. I'm not even in your state. Like, you want to take a plane ride, or how are we going to do this? You want to invest? You want to pay for half the ride? And then she was just like so angry. She's like, that's
mad.
it. My mama's going to come kick your ass. And I said, how the old fuck are you? Are you going to need to come with somebody on the plane?
Yeah.
And then I looked, and it's a pinche little 7-year-old. And I was like, you know what? I just fought with a 7-year-old. I need to stop. I need to disconnect from this life for a second. Because you know what? You have to remind yourself, Instagram in general, not even just talking about the models, it's everybody. It's a fake perspective. It's a perception based on what you think somebody else's life is like, and it's what they want you to see. So, I always remind people, social media is a great thing, but just as much of a great thing, it's a bad thing. Just because it's hard for people to connect these days. It's hard for people to really, look somebody in the eye. Like, and how we're talking right now, if you were to bring that to some random person who's just so used to social media and not connecting physically, this would be a very big challenge.
Of course.
And it makes it makes me uncomfortable. I'm already uncomfortable all the time. But it makes me uncomfortable because it's just like, God, there needs to be more of a connection. There's not as literal of a connection social media is. It's just as much a disconnect because people really don't know how to be themselves. And that's what I don't like about the whole entire Instagram model thing. I don't think people are cool when they, post themselves up, just their titties, just doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, hey guys, what's good? Like, I could give two shits. And I get really, really bored about it. And, that's why, on my page and when you meet me, there's a lot more to me than just the way I look. I make fun of so much shit because it's so fucking funny. And I just don't think that it's all about, and I can't believe I'm saying this, it's not all about looks.
Oh, it's not? You're telling me that's not all
my
it's
nipple
about?
just got hard. Woo! Shit, no. I mean, so, that's the one thing. I think it's great to show off the beauty of a woman and anybody in general. Like, men do it too, but I laugh at the men when they do this and they're in the pillows and they're like, how's your day? I'm like, bitch, like, that's
like bored. What up?
Yeah, exactly. That, God. I unfollow. Every single time there's certain things, like if somebody's like showing off them counting their money, or like if they flip somebody off, I'm so tired of the flipping off shit. Like there's just so many things that I get really like, it's not going to ruin my day, but it's like, fuck, we just went down a notch.
Yeah, like it's definitely not going to ruin my day, but then I kind of look at situations like that to the point where, come on, I know you're not like that.
No, I know.
Even if I don't know the person, it's like, you can't just be, because everyone is doing that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's an image. Everybody's got an image, and they're posting up what they want you to see. They want you to see, hey, cool, I'm always out. I'm hanging out with people. I'm popular. I make money. I'm in front of a car. And you know what? I do the same thing on certain things, but I also make fun of myself all the time. So if I'm like posting up a picture of me in the fucking, like, okay, I did like a basketball thing, and like
I saw that.
I could have done all of like the shooting the shit and making it in, but no, bitch, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. That ball hit me in the face, and I was like, woo, I don't know, like I just think it's so much better to be real and show who you are, and I think you'll connect more with people than to just constantly be doing this certain look, because it's really hard to be.
But you know what's crazy is that like it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right?
Oh,
so
totally.
if you promote something that is, let's say, positive and something that everybody is just like positively vibing with, like, it's good. And at the same time, you're promoting like a positive lifestyle.
Yeah.
But then I've noticed whenever people tend to like promote something that is a little bit more deep and something that I guess is a little bit more that kind of like veers people off from them. Like people don't necessarily gravitate towards that or have like the ability to be like, hey, like I'm here to help, or hey, like what's actually going on.
Well, because it's a mixture. I'm finding it's not, normally if they were to do that, it would be with like a shitty picture, or it would be with a certain look that's not attractive enough to the eye, or it would be with somebody who doesn't have enough followers, or, there's always a mixture. So I think that, if John Legend were to post that up, it would get millions of views. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying John Legend on purpose because he's a really good person. Like if you talk to anybody, he's a dope ass person. He's real as fuck. He's a great writer. He's talented. Those dimples, shoot. Dimples are so cute.
Shout out Chrissy Teigen.
Yeah, shout out Chrissy to both of you guys. I would not kick either one of you guys out of the bed if you had cookies. Straight up. Yeah. Anyways, hey. But I mean, the point is it just depends. Like I do think that, you can make a difference doing deep ass posts, but you got to know that it's not just literally, I wouldn't be posting it and sitting down on a fucking couch with no makeup. Like you got to know how to sell yourself. And that's the one thing that I always say, like just as much as I'm real, I also know, I don't really know the business too well, but I do know a couple things that sell. So, and it's just like anything else. If you want to, sell a bowl of cereal, you're going to do it with a little kid, and you're going to do it with like a bunch of cartoon characters in the background. You're going to do it, and the cereal might actually be good, but you won't know unless you have a couple things around. And that's what I say with messages. That's what I say with songs. That's what I say with me as a person. Like, I'm a great person, but you might not know it if I'm just like shooting myself from the left, and you're not going to be able to see my face. You got to shoot it in the right way. So, I mean, I think it would be, but I think that you have to know exactly how to sell yourself.
So then do you feel like the objectification of women makes it that much more difficult for someone like yourself to break through?
I think that, but I mean, we could use excuses all day. I think that, I'm not a fan of, and I'm not saying that anybody is a victim, but I don't like to say certain things are happening to me just because of this. I think that I'm a very powerful human being. I'm a very strong motherfucker. I haven't gotten this far just to say, oh, I can't get through this because of this. No, I'm strong. And I think that if you really want to make it in this business, you have to be very, very strong, and you have to know your worth, and you have to know how to do things. And if you don't know how to do it, you're going to teach yourself how to do it. So the objectification thing, well, you know, it's going to happen because unfortunately in the music business, you got to look good. And if you don't look good, then you got to be extremely talented and on point with what you do. So you have to choose what your battles are going to be. And for me, I know my battles and I fight them every motherfucking day. And I'm never, ever one to say I'm fucking perfect because I'm obviously not.
Ain't nobody perfect, man.
Ain't nobody. But yeah, no, I mean, yes, there's always going to be objectification. But I mean, it is what it is. Fix it, focus on it. Do what you want to do. Like, you know, it's kind of like we're at this time right now where so many people are just like fighting. They're like, okay, well, if there's a problem, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Okay, well, if it's that much of a problem to you, then fix it. And it's a really hard business to fix it. I mean, we've been going through so many Me Too movements.
Well, that's the thing too. Like, if the idea is that we're gonna try to fix it, there's just like no possible way in which you can. Like, not one single person can fix it. And even if you get like a plethora of people to like gang together to try to fix it, like it's just not gonna happen.
I can speak for myself. I can only speak for myself. Actually, I can't speak for all the other women, but. I'm not gonna lie. I have a heavy personality. If I know what I want, I get it, and I know that music is what I want to do. I know that songwriting is what I want to do, and I love to look pretty. So I love aesthetics. So with that, it works out. And also, you know, Too Short is one of the most respectful dudes, and you know he don't lift your eyebrow up. You know, I know he writes songs about pussy and bitches, but
strippers and hoes.
But let me tell you something. You know, if I sit down with him and I tell him this is what this is what I'm working on, he'll be like, listen, this is what you should do, and you know, this is why. And, you know, he don't put no hand on me. Like, he's one of the most respectful motherfuckers. And that's the way it should be, okay? But if you get somebody who, you know, and we hear about it all the time. You go to a manager or somebody and you say, hey, I want to be represented by you. Or I want to do this. Of course, there's some time. It's been around for years. There's some type of innuendo, right? But you have to choose to be strong. And you have to choose to say, no, fuck you, bitch. And maybe it might not work out with that producer or whoever it is. But you move on to somebody else. And if you're talented enough, if you're driven enough, if you know exactly how to handle the situation, and some of us don't, and it's not fair. But the thing is you gain thick skin. And I've been through a lot where, you know, being where I am, being who I am, I haven't known the correct avenues to go through. And it's been the process of elimination. It's been a lot of fucking up. It's been a lot of staying in the same place and complacency and then getting motivated. And thank God and thank the universe that I've had people that have been on my side and I'm talented to where they say, you need to do this. So I'm grateful. And I can only speak for me. But, you know, I've spoken to other ladies where they say, oh, I really wanted to do this, and he made a move on me, and I, you know, now that opportunity is not going to be there. And I always tell everybody the same thing. No, that opportunity is not going to be there, but maybe something greater, maybe something along the same lines of it, but it's not going to be with that loser. And would you ever want to stay with that loser if you were treated that way? I think it's just really about not staying in the same place and getting out of a situation. And like I said, you can apply that to music. You can apply it to anything in life. We can all make excuses.
Well, it's kind of like that idea in which, like, let's say you have, like, this dream and you have everything planned out and you're like, oh, you know what, one day I'm just going to get signed to Too Short. So then you end up getting in the room with Too Short and then you find out you guys aren't necessarily, like, a perfect match. It just seems like your world is just crashing down at that point. Like,
it happens
man,
to me every day.
everything. This is everything that I dreamed of. This is everything that I planned for. That's everything that you plan for. But, you know, I'm the type of person who believes in, like, a higher power.
Same.
You know what I mean? So that's what you plan for, but then the higher power has something else planned for you, something even greater than what you already anticipated.
Same, exactly here. Same here. Okay, so number one, if you know my roots, I was never really into, like, my brothers listened to hip hop. I wasn't the hip hop girl. I was the, you know, like the 6-year-old listening to Alice in Chains and Nirvana, and I was on to Seattle rock. I was the rock girl. I was the indie girl. I was the one listening to Fiona Apple and Tom York and Radiohead, and people were listening to Backstreet Boys, and I was like, what you know about The Cure? You know, like...
The rebel.
Yeah, like I was wearing torn jeans, and I didn't comb my hair for 2 days in a row. It was crazy. I mean, so, you know... when meeting Too Short, I knew who Too Short was. I knew Blow the Whistle. I knew, I didn't even know the name of the song, but I always sang him. Like, I knew that part. I can't go any further than that. But I saw him, and, you know, like I said, you take steps. Like, even though you don't know where you're going to go, I knew that I had just spent 6.5 years wasting my life with somebody who wasn't going to be there. So I was brokenhearted, and I was on a date with somebody where I was like, fuck it, you know, fuck it. And I literally was, you know, just, I'm taking chances. Anywhere I can go, I'm going to take a chance, because this could lead to another place. Maybe higher, maybe lower, maybe it'll catapult me. Who fucking knows? So I wasn't amazed by it, you know, and I met Too Short, and Short is, as I've gotten to know him, he's an amazing businessman, and I've learned a lot, and I could learn way more if I was at the studio more, but I'm always in my cave writing music. But, you know, the thing is like, I had two different styles. I never really listened to a shitload of Too Short. And so, you know, you get surprised, and you get put in places that you never expected to go. Like, I would have never thought I was going to get signed with Short. Like, I wanted to get signed with, like, Capitol Records. But, like, to me, I was like, oh, my God, how do you do that? You know, it's different.
Well, you know, that's why when Maritza introduced me to your music, I was like, I've never heard like guitars over drums like this.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy to me how like that blended so well. And on top of that, like I had never heard that before.
Thank God, that's my goal. But you know what? To me, my goal is to be. I wouldn't even say I'm not even at my full innovation yet, because I'm working with amazing people. Like, shout out to Meter Mob. Meter Mob is a dope set of producers, and they have a bunch of shit going on. They're the ones that produced Pendeja, which is awesome.
Shout out them, man. That's a dope beat. I fuck with that.
That's gonna be the first single, and the video we're shooting. It's gonna be amazing. Do you want to sing it?
That's all I know.
Okay, never mind.
Pendejo.
And
I'll be there for the video shoot though if I get the invite.
Hey, I'll invite you.
Yeah.
Well, I'll explain to you after this. We have a big idea for it. It's gonna be very Latino. But yeah. So also Zach, he works a lot with E40 and Too Short as well. So I had these amazing producers that like I grew up with like more rock. So but they're more like funk, hip hop, rap, trap, all that shit. So when we came together, I was already growing up on like. Have you ever heard of Portishead?
Mm-mm.
What?
Sorry.
Holy fucking balls.
The most alternative rock I will ever go is Linkin Park.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
She's like...
Respect. You know, I never judge anybody's music. But, okay, so listen. Imagine this.
Just to give you a ballpark of where my mind is at.
Okay, I'm going to serve it up for you. All right, so I was like 12 years old. I was watching Saturday Night Live. I was obsessed with Sarah Michelle Gellar from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She was on Saturday Night Live. So this is the only way and the only reason why I discovered Portishead. So I was like waiting. I was like a little... Oh my God, I'm going to fall asleep, shit. And then all of a sudden she's like, you know how they always introduce the last person and who's performing at them. And it's like 12 o'clock. So I was like, I want to fucking go to sleep. This is bullshit. I have to go to church in the morning. So then all of a sudden she's like, welcome, Portishead. And I was about to turn off the TV. And all of a sudden I see this. It's dark. It's like gloomy. It's dusky. And you hear, dun, dun,
smooth.
Dun. And then a little DJ does, dun, dun, and then a trumpet goes, da 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 da, dun dun. Then he starts mixing on his little DJ set.
Yeah.
Where, and then it goes to a little skinny white old chick just doing that. I'm like, what the fuck is she gonna do? And then she just starts sounding like an old school jazz serenader, like, we suffer every day. Music stops. What is it for? And then I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to this.
I'm encapsulated now.
So I think I have it. But Portishead is a mixture of trip hop. Trip hop is a mixture of like acid pop and in hip hop and jazz. And it's fucking fire, bro. Here you go. This is how it started.
Ooh. 97.
Don't even pay attention. Maybe you guys should hear this. Hear that trumpet? And then this is where it stopped me.
Oh. God.
Like, my nipples got hard. I was a 16-year-old, and I was like, oh, shit. And you don't expect for this little white chick to come in on this. You think somebody's KRS-One or somebody's going to be like,
Hella boom bap.
no. And this is how I began to form my music. Just wait for it.
We suffer every day. What is it for?
And the words, these crowns of illusion, are fooling us all.
Fooling us all.
And now I'm weary.
And now I am weary, and I feel
And I feel like I do. But it's only you
Damn.
who can tear me apart. So I'm going to stop you there.
That's crazy.
I still got, my nipples got hard.
You know,
again.
now that you mentioned Portishead and we've gotten like an idea of like
Yeah.
what their sound is, like I can see
Now
how
you
that
can
directly
get-
translates
Yep.
to you.
So that's a mixture of jazz. That's a mixture of hip hop, trip hop. It's like so good. So, you know, when I was going into the studio with just a little acoustic guitar, and, you know, I was very influenced by Janis Joplin, Nora Jones, Amy Winehouse. I still had that screechy voice. So you mix it all together. I like to think it's innovative, but it really isn't. I'm just a replica of what all this fucking talent is. And when you begin to pull from all these places, I never wanted to stay on the top 40. Like, I was always like, okay, like, let me listen to the shit that, like, I had so many different types. Like, I had two brothers that were into two different type of hip hops. Michael was into West Coast hip hop. He was into Tupac. Let me spit on you. Let me talk about poetry in San Francisco. And blah, blah, blah. And then Mario was the follower, and he was like, Notorious B.I.G., East Coast, what, KRS, what, yeah, that's what's up. And I'd be like, okay, guys. And then my mom was the little queen that was like, don't go for second best, baby. And then all of a sudden she'd be like, I'm tired. Let's put on Sade. And I'd be like, oh, shit. And then my grandma was always into like, and then I had an auntie that would take me on the weekdays that would only listen to Motown. So I'd be like, hey, no, Motown.
Oh, God.
So when you mix all that up, you get me, which is very, very jazzy and always writing something that's catchy and poppy, but still I like to go into a little bit of, you know, rhythm. And I mean, it's very simple. When you look at all that, that's exactly what you get with me.
Well, I mean, I think that's definitely the one up that you have amongst everybody, because the way the landscape of music is now, like people still make songs for the radio,
I know.
which is fine.
No,
but
I
me
do.
being in a radio station for 5 hours straight every day, I'm like, yo, this pretty much sounds like that. This has the same producer as that song, so on and so forth. Oh, this person was literally just on that song too.
It's a cycle.
It's a huge cycle, and it gets kind of nerve-wracking to the point where I don't even listen to hip-hop on like my spare time.
I know.
Like I like to listen to the experimental stuff, because to me, it's that type of, it's the experimental stuff that gives me that itch again. It makes me feel like, wow, like this artist is not necessarily trying to be different, but this artist is simply just
Being themselves.
and not going with the wave that's occurring right now.
Well, I'm not even going to act like I do that 100%. There's a lot of times where I will be like, I want to write a pop song. I want to do this. But it's more of a challenge. You know,
It's kind of like you can do it if you choose to.
Well, not only that. I mean, you know, the thing is these people are making so much money off of a simple song, and you're making a lot of connects. And it's just just like the old saying, do what you got to do until you can do what you want to do. And I think a lot of people are putting their foot in the door, but I think they're forgetting to be that person that always says, when I do make it up there, I'm going to do my own thing. You know, you kind of get caught in the lifestyle of like doing what other people are doing in the party life, or looking cool. And to be honest, I'm so anti that. And I never thought I would be. I would always, you know, it's like that old grandpa that, you know, is around the kids and says, wreck and murder, and I'm turning into that. And, you know, not only that, like, you know, I see things like, you know, I remember being like younger and watching Kurt Cobain talking about just being so anti everything. It's just like, you know, everybody's a fucking follower. And you know what, imagine how he would be at this time, you know? Yeah. And he said something the other day, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was along the lines of just, you all are followers. You all are just, just watching what he's going to do so you can do it. You all are, everything sounds the same. Everything is just a parrot. I just, and I was like, I said that. I say that all the time, and I'm becoming that. And, when you see how his life ended and how he was plagued by all these thoughts, I always have to tell myself, if anything, be the difference and be the change. And you can only do it once you're up there, but, you have to kind of find your way. And, that's what I'm doing every day. Like, I never claim to say, oh, this is the way it's, it's kind of, this is the way it is until something changes. And you can either be the change, and every little change obviously brings up humanity a little bit. So, I mean, I'm just doing what I can do. But shit, we in deep, guys.
Yeah. We're deep down that ditch right now.
We're about the equator. Is that what you do?
Yeah, it's kind of it's a marker between here and there.
Got you.
This whole conversation kind of reminds me of one of my favorite artists personally. Have you ever heard of Jidenna?
I've heard of her, but
Or him?
No. Are you talking about?
Jiden-
I'm a classic man.
Yeah, classic.
Oh,
man.
I fucking love Jidenna.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was
So-
mixing her up. I was mixing him up with Georgia
Smith.
Yeah, but not the sound, just the names.
Yeah.
I'm a
all
sing
good.
person. Go on.
But so Jidenna, when he first came
He's
out
so
with Classic
different.
Man, I was like, based off when it came out, I think about like 2014. I was like, I get it. It's
love
a
him.
radio song. It's cool, but it wasn't necessarily like the best song in the world, right? Next thing you know, maybe like a year later, his song "Long Live the Chief" shows up on Luke Cage, Marvel's Luke Cage on Netflix, and so when I'm listening, so when I'm listening to this song called "Long Live the Chief" and him performing, I was just like, "Yo, who is this guy?" Right? And then when I put the pieces together, I'm like, "There's no way that is the same guy who did Classic Man."
See, that's great.
So
though.
then I listened to Jidenna's his last album. It's called "Long Live the Chief," or it's called "The Chief," and I was like, "Yo, this guy's really fucking good."
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it was that idea of what you were saying. You kind of just need to get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
Get some exposure. Come out with a Classic Man. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But make sure Classic Man isn't like.
But it was
the
him
one-
though. Like
It
you hear
was
his
him.
stuff
It was
now, and
him.
it's like, oh fuck yeah, it wasn't like he was being.
But I mean,
somebody.
he also dresses the part.
Dude, his
That's
aesthetics
literally
are the shit.
what he is, like the classic man of
Yes.
this generation. But when you dive into his music, it's like, whoa, like he's not the radio man
I
we
love
thought
it.
he was. You
I
know
love
what I
it.
mean? Like, and I'm just like, yo, like I feel like a lot of artists need to understand that route.
They don't, though.
Because the more bangers you try to make, it's literally just gonna get played out.
Well, so we don't have a lot of time, so I'm just going to cut it short. The thing is this. It's not just the artists. It's the music business. They need to, if you look back in the day, they put more into their artists, okay? It's the opposite now. What it is how many followers do you have? We won't sign you unless you have over 50,000 followers. We need to see. It's pretty much, okay, they don't come in until the artist really doesn't need them. You know what I mean? So, what is considered a nobody? If you were to look at, all the people that have made it in the 60s, like fucking Jimi Hendrix, do you think that they would have waited on Jimi Hendrix? They would have waited till he had 100,000 followers to do. And let me tell you something. He probably would have overdosed or went back in the army or would have done other shit. Like, they're not finding talent the way they used to. And they're going to miss out on a lot of good fucking talent. There are people that just don't have it in them to do the fight that I'm doing, of literally not knowing how, they're going to pay certain things because, I got to go to the show. This could be a great opportunity. Life has changed, and they put too much emphasis on looks and too much emphasis on everything in the beginning, when in reality it should be about the sound first. And then once you find them, you develop them, you put it into them. It's like it's like your child. Okay, I believe in you. You're going to do something. You're going to fucking be big. I'm going to invest in you. And when you get to this age, then we're going to fucking blow you out of the water. They don't do that. They wait till we blow ourselves out of the water. And then the fact is that you have social media and you have people investing in things and paying for things, paying for their likes, paying for their streams, paying for this. And everybody's guilty of it. But if you have enough talent, you have enough, mindset to be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do regardless. It's getting to the point where we don't need them. So they're freaking out,
I guess the last question that I want to ask you is, in this world where there's so many things that are just trying to, I guess, tear us down, between the record labels just looking at numbers, looking at looks, and then people just looking at popularity as like the all-in thing, right?
Yeah.
What keeps you fighting to want to keep on doing this?
I was just thinking about that this morning. I mean, it's the fact that I know that this is what I meant to do. There's the amount of shit that I've been through in my life, and waking up every morning knowing, oh, is this what I should do? Like, there's times where I don't want to do it. It's very tiring. It's tiring for my soul. But I know that when I'm on stage and then I touch people and then, I get a message from somebody saying, oh, God, thank you so much for your music. And I'm like, Jesus, have I really made that big of a difference? They're like, yeah. Like I get messages, and I don't know how this happens. It's definitely social media, which, like I said, there's negative and positive.
Good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah, like I got a message from a girl, like, I get somebody who checks up on me from Ethiopia, like, and I thought it was weird at first, but then they check up on me. Tight. They're like, thank you so much. I love Tell Me, like, is one of my first singles off Dimensions. It was one of my first singles, and everybody fucking loves it. And it's a message, and what I put through and what my message is, regardless of the songs that are kind of depressing, which that's how I get out my shit. It's all the nastiness that I feel I pour it out into my music. You'll never know when you talk to me, but if you listen to my albums, you know all the shit that I'm going through. I think that, when you know your purpose in life, regardless of what, like I said, if it's not music, if you're a fucking accountant, if you're a yoga teacher, whatever the hell you are, if you feel like this is something that you need to do and you constantly have you're miserable doing everything else, and you constantly have all these reminders and signs. And I always say, pay attention to the signs, pay attention to the messages. It's God, it's the universe, it's nature telling you you're going in the right direction, you're going in the wrong direction. How do I know? I feel like shit all day doing this, or I feel great doing this. And I always remember that feeling that I get when I'm on stage or when I talk to somebody and I hear how my music is touching them, and I'm like, that's what I'm supposed to do. Because it gives me more power in that one moment rather than a full day of doing nothing 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what, the reason why everything fell apart 3.5 years ago was because I was miserable in my life. I was working a corporate job. My dad, who I wasn't close to, had just passed. I was literally I was driving through a canyon, and I was like, I wish I would just drive off. And that was a moment I said, ooh, that's not good. Mm-hmm. And then I started doing music, and my life totally turned and spinned, and everything started falling into place. And when I mean falling into place, it's still falling into place. Nothing's perfect. But like I said, how do you know? I'm happier when I'm doing it than when I'm not. That's it.
We're going to end it on that note.
There you go.
Thank you, Mercy.
Thank you for having me.
Well, where can everybody find you, and when can everybody expect a
Hell
Pendejo?
Yeah. Let me just look at the list. I got the list right now. Well, you guys, like I said, Mercy, MERCY _COLLAZO. That's with a Z, as in zebra. And like I said, we're doing a bunch of photo shoots. I'm doing I'm putting out a bunch of content. But the main thing is I'm going to be playing at the Mint on the 29th of May. Follow me on IG, because that's where I post up everything right away, as far as dates, as far as upcoming projects coming out, who I'm working with, new music, all that shit. But the website's going up towards the end of the month because we're doing a bunch of photo shoots, doing a lot of content. I'm gonna look cute and shit.
Let it all come out at once.
That's what's up. But most importantly, the Pendejo playlist is coming out this summer. It's going to be released with the first single, which is Pendejo, featuring Meter Mob. And like I said, putting content after content out. So what I need from you guys is just to support, share my shit, follow me, stay with me, because, I ain't going nowhere, and either should you. That was like Michael Jackson. Sorry.
Crotch grab.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to end it. This is the lunch table. Food for thought. I'm Nico Blitz. Mercy Collazo. We are out, everybody. Yay!